This is Isaac Joseph, the Benjamin Bedouin, MYDYR. I'm going to continue on my rant against all Baptists. Did you not even know that the Baptist religion is the most GD wicked religion in the entire world? It is the most antichrist, Freemasonic rag you're ever going to find. Even other evangelical groups do not want anything to do with them. Southern Baptists, more particularly, stand absolutely alone. So do Independent Baptists stand alone apart from Southern Baptists. Although, if I tell you they don't like each other, that's true. Blessings to you, Sister Monica. It's also true that whenever they need each other and they got a common enemy, like somebody like Dawid or I, they'll join each other's cause. Then they'll go back to fighting each other. Don't you read the book of Acts? Don't you remember when the Sadducees and the Pharisees believed in the resurrection? The Sadducees don't believe in the resurrection. But what happens? Paul, they were going to join together against Paul. But then what happens? They end up fighting each other. So Paul knew how to turn it around. You got to go read that in the book of Acts again, please. It's quite comical how Paul, my tribesman, might even look like Paul for all I know, how it happened. But see, I'm saying this because, yesterday, the gentleman I thought was my friend is actually a Reformed Baptist pastor in secret, uh, wearing a skin mask and somebody not to be trusted. And I know that's what the Holy Spirit has shown me. I don't make up stuff, friend. I received the revelations. I have to go with them. It's even too much for me to handle. I mean, I get mad about it whenever I'm being told it, but he has to tell you because you have to process it and you have to know the tricks and schemes of the enemy. What's that? So, the clue I got, the Holy Spirit reminded me. You remember when a married couple in High Point Baptist Church in 2017 was going to invite you to dinner, and all of a sudden they looked for an excuse not to not to have me over after all because I requested not to eat pork. All right, now fast forward to yesterday. Yes, Sister Monica, shalom to you. And so fast forward to yesterday. We were going to be invited. There was going to this hypocrite and his wife who controls him. Jezebel controls him. Yeah, you're driving. Be careful. Go watch this later if you want to, because it's very critical. I don't make videos without being inspired by the Holy Spirit because I ain't got time not to be inspired. My body's still broken down and I'm still looking for a way out of this county. Anyway, so Sanchez in 2017, Juan R. Sanchez told the married couple not to have me over. And they themselves did not want to have somebody around who would not eat pork. I'm going to tell you something. I will not eat pork. I will not touch your pork. Your pork will have mRNA in it. You will get the mRNA in your pork supply today. Hey, puppy. You ought to not want to feed your dog pork anymore. This is the truth. And so, Juan R. Sanchez preaching in a sermon says, doesn't matter what you eat. So it doesn't matter if you eat pork, shellfish, or bust the dietary laws. doesn't matter what you drink, so it's okay to be an alcoholic. And I knew Sanchez to be a drunk. He was in the Navy, so he can never quit being drunk. So, but please excuse my sin because I served your country and I'm entitled to sin. And if I want to have your wife, I can have your wife too. So Sanchez and Dever and all them, they have concubines. This is all true. It's all Holy Spirit verified. Okay, so what's that all got to do? Because see, it doesn't matter what you eat, Sanchez says when he preaches a sermon on Philippians in 28, sermon on Philippians in 2020, I believe. He preaches that sermon every year about this time. He'll probably be preaching it again. Uh, he's probably already in the middle of Philippians again because he does it every year. Because he wants to call people like me a Judaizer for obedience to the Ten Commandments. But and so doesn't matter what you eat, it doesn't matter what you drink, it doesn't matter if you play cards, even though playing cards is an occult, is a game of the occult. The hidden hand is what you call a part of the occult and Freemasonry, and it doesn't matter about what you wear. So if you're a woman and you wear tights, I know I'm going to be getting into her pants. That's his thinking. That's been his thinking, even though he's in his 60s and he's just a pervert. Um, doesn't matter all these things. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He was singing the meatball song as far as I can be concerned. But so it doesn't matter what you eat, it doesn't matter what you drink, it doesn't matter if you play cards, it doesn't matter how you dress. That's what he preaches from the pulpit. And sexual immorality doesn't matter to him either because he rarely, if ever, preaches about it. But he'll have to say it because I'll monitor his sermons. He doesn't care about sexual immorality. He didn't teach on it. He just tells you that he's been married to Janine since 1990. Now, Janine might not even be a woman. She's a little too tall for me to think that's a woman. Woman. But all this stuff about if you don't think, blessings to you, Brandon. You're back again tonight. Good to have you. And so it doesn't matter what you eat. It doesn't matter what you drink. Doesn't matter if you drink alcohol. Doesn't matter if you drink wine coolers. Doesn't matter if you drink orange juice or Kool-Aid or something that's bad for you. That's got red 40 food dye in your diet. So it doesn't matter if I get caused neurological problems because you know why he says that? Because he knows if you eat like crap, like he does, like most pastors eat like crap. They'll be in the doctor for high blood pressure medication. They'll be at the doctor, and there's JoJo, blessings to you, and Sergio. So that's why your pastor says it. I want to remind you Revelation, where it says that Jezebel, that woman Jezebel, has seduced my servants into eating foods sacrificed to idols and commit sexual immorality. Isn't that what your pastor does when he tells you to celebrate Christmas? Put up a tree, violate Jeremiah 10:1 and 2, then eat a ham to commemorate the birth of Christ when he wasn't even born that day. Now we're going to have Easter coming up, and your King James Version is the only version of the Bible that says that Herod purposed to get Yahusha at Easter. Acts 4, no, 12:4. That word is not Easter, Jack. That's Pascha for Passover in the Greek. I'm busy. And so we see that it doesn't matter what you eat. So at Easter, when Yahushua was resurrected, You have a feast day for that. It's called the Feast of First Fruits. That's what you call the Resurrection Day. And it actually happened at the eve of what you'd call Sunday morning, at the end of the Sabbath, not on Sunday. And so I eat a ham for the resurrection of Christ. So I'm killing a ham rather than eating a Passover lamb. So you replace the lamb with a ham and you turn Yahusha, Jesus, into a pig. That's a blasphemous thing that the Vatican entices her harlot daughters to participate in. So Pastor Sanchez, High Point Baptist Church pastor, so-called reformed pastor, he preaches everything the Vatican preaches. Says he used to be a Catholic. I told people he's still a Catholic. Then Sanchez wants to kill me day after day after day and send people after me. So he in 2018 enticed a married couple to withdraw the invitation they had for me to eat at their place because I insisted I don't want pork and I don't want shellfish and I obey the dietary laws. And Sanchez was trying to get that beat out of me. So fast forward to yesterday, a couple that I now know to be a Reformed Baptist pastor and his wife. He was wearing a skin mask, by the way, and I even believe so was his wife. Anyway, we were going to be Saturday invited for a pot of chili that would happen tonight. Then I get a rude phone call yesterday with saying, because you disrespected my property, which we did not, I'm not gonna have nothing to do with you anymore. And he made up a bunch of stories about how nobody's ever done things as horribly as we have. I started to gather. So just like Juan R. Sanchez had that married couple withdraw the invitation for me to eat at their house without and obey the dietary laws, so does this married couple do yesterday by his phone call. Withdraw the invitation, even to visit or fellowship or anything anymore. He just disappeared, just like Julie in West Virginia did and Front Royal did. And she was an agent, just like so-called Karen Brewer did. And then these people just have a way of pretending to be a ministry partner and want to help you. And then they just withdraw and pull back with some kind of bull crap excuse. And some of them had the motivation. Karen Brewer is a practicing nurse in the state of New York. She had a motivation of getting me in the emergency room, getting me a vaccine, getting a reward for it. Then she'd marry me. I didn't want no marriage. I didn't want any of it. And I'm not going to take a vax. And Julie had a motivation of that I would also take the vaccine and be on her staff, which, well, I'd have to take a vaccine. And she smelled like vaccine. And I wasn't interested in any of them. I'm interested in sojourning the gospel of Yahushua Messiah. So this couple reminded me of what happened in 2017 to me through Dr. Juan R. Sanchez of High Point Baptist Church. This guy pulled the same rag like the other two had. And you know what? They're all Baptist, all of them Baptist. And Julie even gave me intel I already knew. Mike Pence was a member of a Southern Baptist church in the D.C. area in Mark Dever's Nine Marks Network. And Mark Dever himself has a load of concubines, and Julie is one of them. She divorced her husband to become a concubine for Mark Dever, just like a lot of women divorced their husbands and remain single to become a concubine for Juan Sanchez, Mark Dever, any other pastor on the Nine Marks Network, even any pastor in the Southern Baptist Convention, and there are most of them who like to have concubines. It's like side action. They're like secret black Hebrew Israelites who like to do the same thing, except at least they tell you we're going to commit polygamy. Southern Baptists just go around, sleep around all the time, and just I saw this replete. So what does that have to do with food? I already showed you the connection in Revelation chapter 2. And so now all these people appear in your life and you're going to tell me I am just paranoid, that evil just follows you because you're in sin, and we need to convince you to come back to the Baptist church. Not on your life. But, you know, that's when all the false flags in Morgantown, West Virginia were beginning to happen to me too. Because in May, when the so called old Ramada Inn in Morgantown, West Virginia supposedly had straight white line winds mowing it down, I was running a live stream on my old YouTube channel that got stricken down by July. And all of a sudden I knew there was some roaring above me and all this. The roof was getting torn up by drones because the Southern Baptist Convention didn't want me to continue to open the case about the sex crimes that would come out 1 month later. So my continual, undying devotion to getting the truth out about who these pastors really are, another Canaanite Baptist sex cult, another Phoenician lie. I have persistently, ever since 2017, when the case broke out about the firing of Dr. Eric Johnson, who we knew was gay. Dr. Mueller knew he was gay, and he hired him because he taught that you could be born gay and you might not change and you'd still be saved. What's that all got to do with food? It's quite simple, because eating pork and shrimp and all that will make you gay. It'll reverse your brain. It'll put parasites in your body. It's not healthy. Pork will make you gay. Pork will make you effeminate. Pork will increase an estrogen levels in a man, and it'll turn you effeminate. And I had that problem until I started getting off of pork, shellfish, all that. That's not Jewish, friend. Acts 10 and 11 did not abrogate the dietary laws. If Cornelius was to be approved by the synagogue, he would not have eaten. He would have obeyed the dietary laws, kept the commandments, and it wouldn't be Jewish. He would just be approved in the synagogue because he obeyed the law of the temple in order to enter it. And the whole thing about the sheet was not that Peter was going to eat any of it. He didn't. And Cornelius didn't. It's just that Peter was being shown a stereotype in the midst of clean and unclean animals. The stereotype is that Gentiles and Hebrews would be one in Messiah, and that they would all be one in Messiah. So go to Cornelius and go talk to him. He's not a pork eater. And even if you are a pork eater, you share the gospel with them, you sit down and eat with them, and you don't eat what they eat, and you just fellowship with them, and you try to show a good ensample of a good diet and that you live a healthy life, and pray that will encourage them to get off the pork, get off the shellfish, get off the unclean birds and all and scavengers and all that. All these rednecks like to go kill squirrel and beaver and eat that. You're going to get sick eating that. And so people think that's legalism. Well, look how these Baptists behave, and tell me why they will tell you, I can't stop sinning. I'm going to sin until I die. And it even becomes like a command. You can't stop sinning. They'll love bomb you in the church, and they'll send you people your way. Then they'll tell you, you just can't stop sinning. And they'll all pretend to be your friend and say, look, you just can't stop sinning. And I'm going to tell you, a big Baptist ritual is that they put pork in everything, pork and green beans, pork and mashed potatoes, bacon bits and baked potatoes, pork with chicken, pork with beef, pork mixed with chicken and beef franks, pork with this, pork with that. You know where that came from? Maccabees 4. You ought to go into the apocryphal book of Maccabees 4, where a Hebrew family was taken to the town square. They were dragged into town. This is a true story. And Antiochus, who abominated the second temple by sacrificing a pig during the Maccabean revolt, proposed to first the husband and the wife, and then the 7 children under them, that if you will eat this pork, eat this pig, you'll be a part of society. You'll be good with us. But if you don't, you're going to get beheaded. Revelation 20, verse 4, Noahide, rawhide, Noahide laws. You ought to know, if you listen to me, you'll hear me have talked about it. I have a good 2-part series on it too, on BitChute and Rumble, and I aim to put it on my new YouTube channel. All right. So anyway, first the husband was killed. He said, "I will die for Yahuwah on this. I will die for this." And then the wife gets killed. She gets beheaded. They put you through some painful torture session before they decide they're just going to have to kill him. I think the wife got thrown. I think the husband and the wife got thrown into a den of lions. It was the children one by one that got beheaded, and they take from the oldest to the youngest, and they'd start telling you, "See, look what happened to your mom. Look what happened to your dad. Look at that right there. Are you sure you really want to die over this? Well, isn't that what churches tell you today? Are you willing to die over that?" Yeah, if it meant being beheaded, I wouldn't eat pork or shrimp or scavenger birds to stay alive because it's unhealthy. It's unclean. I'd rather die than eat something unclean. And the whole thing about being in the Baptist church, you're going to go through a ritual like where everybody's going to be having a dinner, and there's like pork in everything they serve, green beans, mashed potatoes, pinto beans, whatever it is they're serving. They'll put out the delicatessen, layout with rolled ham, rolled chicken with ham. Wouldn't it be funny to you that they have to put pork in everything? And you're like, you don't even like, in a normal meal, you don't even like pork mixed with beef or chicken. You just like the beef and the chicken, and you like it better than the ham or the bacon. Or you know how they put bacon wrapped ham, bacon wrapped chicken, bacon wrapped filet mignon. It's like pork and everything. Why can't you keep pork out of it? Even when they in Texas when they do a deer kill, oftentimes they're going to do 60 venison, 40 pork, and then they're going to call it venison sausage, and it really isn't. It's a lie. Oh, why does food matter? Don't destroy the work of God for the sake of food. That's what you're doing, friend, by causing people to be seduced. Don't tell me my faith is weak. My faith is strong enough to discipline myself that even if I don't like the pork being served and you've got salad and beans and cornbread without it, I'm content. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to tell you I'm sorry. I can't eat that. I don't eat pork. And why is that important? Because, see, that was a form of the mark of the beast, even during the time of Antiochus the fourth and Maccabees 4. Or it might have been Antiochus the second, or Antiochus the lesser. I don't remember. But, you know, don't sit here and wear your skin mask and your little costume and come up and pretend to be a do-gooder to me and Dawid and expect me not to call you out when I discover that you've been lying to me. Money that you get from the government to spend on me to seduce me into your churches is still vain. It is still filthy lucre. It doesn't mean I don't have to pray for such a man, but I don't think he's really quite committed the sin unto death. I think he's, like I said in the video last night, I think he's halting between two opinions. But the wife was wearing a skin mask too. And I can tell you what, you're not going to fool me. I'm too old to be fooled like that, Jack. Can't fool me with an evil Jezebel woman. They try that many times. And you know what? When you don't have a vainglory purpose in your gospel ministry, they can't stop it for 1 minute. They can slow you down. They can set you up for a fatal car wreck that might have broke your neck to get you in the hospital, get a vaccine, get drugs in you, get mental health medication in you. Sanchez always went out and said, "Go, you need some mental help. You need to go to a psych ward. Check yourself in. Check your brain." No, I don't have to do it. I'm drug free. I'm pork free. I'm shrimp free. I'm alcohol free. I'm free of pharmaceuticals. I don't even take an aspirin. That is what you call word faith. But word faith with greed will result in heavy medical bills. But word faith with holiness and righteousness will carry out the teachings of Christ, that you don't need a doctor, you don't need any physician, but the great physician, Yahusha Messiah, Isaac Joseph, the Benjamin Bedouin, MYDYR. Don't let your church seduce you into alcohol, pork, shellfish, unclean food, unclean flesh, and unclean anything else. We need to be holy as he is holy, and be ye separate. Thank you for all of you being here, Sergio, Sister Monica, Jojo, and Brandon. And blessings to you for coming in and restack this. We're in the end times and your churches are selling you out. Pastors are going to lead the forefront and marking their members with the mark of the beast. The final mark of the beast is the AI chip. It's going, the vax I have maintained is a stage of the mark of the beast. It's a step towards a full implementation of the mark of the beast, towards a living soul becoming a humanoid, reptilian, reptoid transhuman. And many of you are going to be proven about whether or not you're willing to take the digital currency. Then will you take the chip? Well, if you take the digital currency, I figure you're going to take the chip. You're going to you keep taking these stages of the mark of the beast. You're going to get fully marked and fully damned and fully reprobate. Do not do it. If you got to be homeless like me and you're not going to be welcome in a shelter, you're not going to even be able to afford to pay the rent on your house because you can't buy and sell, be ready to flee. Flee like the way Christ told you to flee. Flee the way it says in the book of Revelation. Forsake this world as I and Dawid have. Again, it's Isaac Joseph, the Benjamin Bedouin, MYDYR. This walk of faith is much more difficult and much more strenuous than your pastors ever purpose to live out or ever desire to live out or ever will teach out from the pulpit. Signing out.